All right. Hey, everyone. Mark here, Mark Pre-Markets. Thanks for joining me for another U.S. market open price action analysis session. In the session, as you know, we're going to go over the major markets. I see a question here in the chat. Thanks, Bill. I will answer that question. This is typically not a Q&A session, but I can answer one or two questions. I want to try to keep this at 30 minutes if possible. I tend to go over, but I really want to try to do that. Anyway, so if you're new to the stream, I'm going to go over the major markets like Bitcoin, bonds, stock market, all that kind of stuff. The point is to give you an idea of what's reasonable to expect for today and also for the next few days so that you can have reasonable and objective expectations, okay? And that can help you shape your decisions for day trades or swing trades. All right, so with that, let's get started. This is for educational purposes only. For investment advice, please consult a licensed investment advisor. Also, if you're new to the chat, if you'd like to share what country or what city you're from, that's always a fun fact. Okay, I'm streaming from the greater New York City area, and that's why I sound like I do sometimes. All right, hey everyone. Okay, so first things first, we're going to go over Bitcoin. We're going to begin with Bitcoin. One thing I just want to mention is I am sponsored by 8Cap Partners. They are an Australian broker. They're regulated in Australia, and they offer a numerous amount of instruments that you can trade through their MetaTrader 4 or MetaTrader 5 platforms. If you are interested, you have to be a non-US resident, okay, and from a country that's not sanctioned in order to open an account. If you open an account and deposit $500 and trade one standard lot, then you can get my training program for free. Again, that's for non-US residents. You can get information in the link in the descriptive portion of this video, okay? Just click on that link, show more, it says on the bottom there. All right, otherwise, let's get this thing going here. Also, make sure you guys join my Discord community and learn about my training program. The Discord community is still free, so you can see all the activity in the active investor channel and the signal channels and all that stuff. It's been a little slow, right, these recent couple of weeks because I've been working on getting some stuff together. But the reason why I'm mentioning this is because I'm going to be setting up a paywall very, very soon. Okay, most likely after next week or after this week, I will most likely have the paywall set up. So there will be a free trial available, but get in there now, see what's going on, see if you like it. I am going to be putting more information in those channels, all right? And everything will be explained as I go along. Anyway, just wanted to mention that. And if you're a Greenbridge member or a previous Greenbridge member, send me a private message so I can give you some more information on how it'll work for you as well. All right, let's talk about Bitcoin. I spent too long on this advertising stuff. So Bitcoin, here's the thing. So we talked about this yesterday, right? I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the daily chart because I want to spend more time on the intraday. We had the doji close, right? Closed like that, never took out the low, okay? Never took out the low. So the new sell signal that I was talking about never came to be, all right? So no problem. That's why you wait for confirmation. There should be no new trade. Now, my original trade, hey guys, hey Alex, forgot to say hi, Alex and Bill and Jeff, good to see you guys. My original swing trade idea that I sent out about a week ago, whatever, that trade is still in play, okay? And that was based on this break over here, and that was basically what, 18,850. So that trade is still in play. It's still red, but it's nowhere near the stop, and I'm not worried about this because this relative weakness is still intact, especially with the way the S&P has been behaving and these other markets. This thing should be doing much better than it's doing. So that's a sign of relative weakness. That's the way I'm going to interpret that, which means if the market finds weakness, the general market, this thing is likely to sell off, right? So right now, there's no secondary sell signal, no problem. You sit back, you wait, okay? If this current candle, yes, it's a bullish pin bar, but this is a really inconvenient location for a bullish pin bar to show up. And the candle is still open, so this can change as well. If this thing closes as an inside bar, takes out the low, then the new sell signal comes back, right? The secondary one. So, so keep an eye on that. I don't know if I will call the secondary one because I have one in play. I'm not in it, but I called it for people that are interested in being short. Okay, so we'll see how that plays out. I'm not making any adjustments, meaning I'm not tightening the stop, I'm not closing it. I want to give this a chance, okay, because I see the relative weakness and I want to give that a chance. I could be wrong, but based on the general structure and the general trend of this thing, I think it makes sense to give it a chance on the short side, okay? Let's take a look at this on a 60-minute chart. All right, now look at this. So here's 60-minute Bitcoin. Let's zoom out a bit and let's just, again, look at the intraday levels. So old resistance here, when it broke out, look at this support level, okay? Now, this is something that you could have seen in advance, at least a day in advance. You could project these levels, all right, this area. So that tells you one important thing about Bitcoin around that price. You should be looking for longs intraday as a day trader. Now, of course, we see this after the fact, but when I talked about this yesterday, I pointed this area out as a support level, all right? It doesn't mean you just step in front of it, but look at the confirmation on this time frame, all right? Look at this, all right? You have bullish pin bar right here, bullish pin bar, inside bar, outside bar right here. I mean, yes, you have to wait a number of hours before it gets to those levels. Now, let me point this out. Look, bullish pin bar right over here, and it sort of tries to go and then turns around, okay? So they don't all work. This one should have stopped you out. You should have gotten out for a small loss on that one. Again, we're talking about this after the fact, but I just want to point out some examples of how you would use this information intraday. Of course, you would have to go into a smaller time frame. It's not a great idea to be on this time frame unless you understand the expectations of this time frame. But the type of day trades I'm talking about are typically taken on a 15-minute or 5-minute chart, and you're only looking for like 100 points, 150 points, right? That's the expectation. Now, based on where this thing is right now, okay, look at this. So you're sitting on this high. People go, oh, it's going to run away. It looks like a runaway market. Don't get sucked into your own human nature, okay? Human nature is your biggest enemy in this game, but it can be an asset if you know how to capitalize on the mistakes of others. Don't be that group of others. You need to be the one capitalizing on their mistakes. That's how it works. The herd mentality is your enemy, but it can be your best friend if you can capitalize on the mistakes of others. That's what professional traders do, okay? You're not taking money out of the banker's pocket. You're taking money out of the retail traders who have no idea what they're doing. That's whose pocket you're taking the money out of. All right, anyway, so right now you have this midpoint. This is a resistance area. Price is clearly ignoring the fact that it's a resistance. There's no pin bar. There's nothing going on here bearish, okay, at this moment. So what to do? You wait. There's nothing to do here. You have your next resistance up here. All right, is this going to go straight up there? These things typically don't move in straight lines, right? As you can see. So best thing to do here, wait for pullback, all right? Where can this thing pull back to intraday? You're looking at this area right here. That is 19,370. How much is this thing right now? 19,438. Okay, so 19,370 area, that's where you're looking for support. You can even make yourself a little zone in here, right? It's not exact price. Inside of this zone, you're looking for buy signals if it can get there. If you get like a tight buy signal, meaning you get like a little tiny little pullback followed by an inside bar on this time frame, that can also be another buy signal intraday, but you're going to have to find confirmation on your smaller time frame, like a 15-minute. Does that make sense? I know I go through this stuff quickly, but this is what you should be looking at from the day trade time frame. This is the starting point, all right? I haven't talked about risk and reward, and I haven't talked about any of those other things, but this is the starting point. You need perspective. This is where it comes from. All right, let's move along here. Let's take a look at the, see what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through the bond market real quick, Bill. Then I'm going to take a look at the S&P, and then I'll take a look at your stock, okay? Or I'll do S&P, Nasdaq, and then I'll take a look at Coca-Cola. All right, let's take a look here. Let's move along to bond market, ZN1. All right, so again, look at that. So that's interesting. The bond market is rallying here, all right? This thing is, we haven't seen a significant like green candle like this in quite some time, right? Going back a couple of weeks here. So coming off this bottom, we had, now look at this. We had the bearish candle yesterday. See that? The bearish candle never went into play, never activated. We never took out that low. That's why waiting for confirmation is so important. We can have the idea and say, oh, look, bearish pin bar, but you don't react. You let the market prove itself. Never proved itself. Okay, instead, we got this candle. So if you overreacted and you, like, if this was another market, like Bitcoin or something, and you overreacted and you got short, oh yeah, it looks like a short. Yeah. And now you're caught in this. Okay. So anyway, so this is bullish momentum developing, but keep in mind, it's way too early to make any economic judgments. Let's look at the resistance levels. You have one right there. It's sitting on the resistance level. Does it clear it? We need to see how the day plays out. If that resistance eventually clears, keep in mind the bonds are very slow. You're looking at this area here, right? So these are our two key areas that we're looking at over like the next 2 days or as the week unfolds. So does the bond market work its way into this zone? Does the bond market work its way into here and then fail again and test the low again? That's what we have to watch. Does it establish another lower high somewhere along the way here? That's what we have to watch for, because the environment and the general structure still supports that scenario until it proves otherwise. So, we had a guy, in my stream yesterday at 3 o'clock, and he mentioned something of, there was a Swedish guy, right? And he mentioned about an analyst. I'm not picking on the Swedish guy, but he mentioned about an analyst in Sweden who gave him some kind of S&P scenario, and it was like all absolutes. Okay, and I basically said to the guy, listen, you cannot think in absolutes. You cannot think, well, okay, so now I know how the market's going to go. It's not like that. Things change. So you have to be open to the change. If you think in absolutes, you're going to be like, well, this thing should go up here. If you use that word should, well, it should go up here, then you're not going to be open to the change, right? And the market may be like, I'm not going up there. I'm turning sooner. And like, no, I just should go up here. And now you stay in your positions, right? And that's when hope starts to get into your positions, and then you get caught in these situations that, where you lose a lot more money than you should, because you have hope, because you think in absolutes. Do not think in absolutes. It's one of the biggest beginner mistakes. That's why I was surprised when he said an analyst, but there are a lot of amateur novice analysts out there who don't have the market experience. They just have a nice title. Please don't be fooled by them. Okay. No one knows anything in this game. No one, unless they have inside information. Anyway, that's the bond market. It's too early to make any economic judgments. We have to keep an eye on this thing. I'm not going to sit here and think the bonds are bullish. We have a long way to go before this structure changes, and the bonds move slow. All right, let's move along here. Let's move on to, let's take a look at the S&P. All right, so we're going to go to SPX. Man, I get like no one watching these things. I wonder if it's the titles that I put in. I don't know. I mean, I know YouTube they don't promote live streams. I mean, I pretty much have to do that. So that could be why too, because I see these guys, like these complete morons that have a couple of thousand people on their live stream, and I'm, how do they do that? Anyway, all right, so this is the S&P, right? Stock market. Look at this, completely ignoring the resistance, just blowing right through it. Okay, where are we at right now? This thing's up 32 points today, right? The market just opened like 20 minutes ago. All right, that's interesting. Now, does the market close like this? That's the big question. Does the market close strong, or does it turn around intraday? That is what you have to watch. We can't make a judgment here and say, well, it's strong today, it's just going to stay strong. This is the location, right? The context of the location, which I always emphasize for my students. You have to pay attention to the location. This location is not a safe location for longs. It's a highly vulnerable location for a fake out. This is a failed high location. Do we get the failed high? I don't know. That's up to the market. But the thing is, we are in the location, so risk is high for longs. If you think you're going to be buying this breakout, it may follow through, but you're taking a lot of risk. Okay. If you go for the breakout, some people like that type of trade. You have to keep in mind that it can turn quickly. If it turns, you should get out of your positions and take the loss. Okay. If this turns into a bearish pin bar in this location, then this is more likely to pull back to this support area over the next few days. Now, it doesn't mean that it will. It's just a likelihood. It's a probability. Okay. So again, I don't want you thinking in absolutes. I just finished talking about not thinking in absolutes. So I'm not saying it will pull back here. I'm saying if you get the bearish pin bar, it increases the chances of testing this support because this is the next relevant support area. All right, and that's all about 37.40 area, something like that. Right, so this thing would be basically giving back 90 to 100 points on the S&P. That's a lot for the S&P. All right, so just keep that in mind. Keep an eye on that. Don't think the market is safe. There's no such thing as safe. Let's take a look at the Nasdaq, right? And especially you're going to have all kinds of, analysts and all kinds of professionals and people on TV. Oh, the market's rallying. The Santa rally has started early this year. Blah 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 blah. Don't listen to them, please. Look at the locations. Look at the resistance levels. This is often when the retail trader thinks the market is safe. The market is good. It's strong. It's going higher. You're at a resistance level in a trend that's generally bearish. The trend hasn't changed yet. This could be the beginning of a trend change. Possibly there is a higher low, but it has to start clearing resistance levels. So I'm not impressed with this at all. I look at the risk. All right. So again, keep that in mind. Your stocks are going to look strong, but if this thing closes weak today, that's going to be a very important sign. All right, of that the bearish activity is still in play. Please keep that in mind. That's why I do these streams, so that you have that perspective. Okay, so this is the Nasdaq. That level happens to be what, 11,650, so around there, 11,650, 11,700. Keep an eye on that area as a resistance. Look for reversals. Now, let me go to that. I'm going to do Nasdaq 30-minute. All right, and then I'm going to take a look at Coke. So here's Nasdaq. So whatever reason, maybe there's some news out. I mean, look at that candle. Yeah, that's a pretty steep candle right there. Look at the structure, right? So this is 30 minutes. Again, this is what you would be using as a day trader to gauge levels on the intraday time frame. So this structure, I mean, this is all still in play. Look, this structure held, right? You got the reversal just over the 50% retracement area of this structure. All right, higher low, worked its way to the high. Notice how it lingered at the high. And now here we go, squeeze. So too many people short, you got the squeeze. Okay, no problem. What do you do now? Well, don't chase this thing. That's the first thing. The structure intraday is generally bullish, we can say, from this structure here. You're looking for pullbacks, for support. Okay, this is your first real relevant support based on this time frame. This is it right here. That's quite a pullback. Okay, that's 11,450. So this thing would have to pull back 200 points to get back there. Is that realistic? When there's a lot of momentum intraday, that may not be a realistic expectation. So what do? Well, look for the halfway point. When you have a really steep candle like this intraday, look at this area right there. Okay, that's the area. Now, there's nothing on this chart that will show that. Okay, that really shows that it has any relevance. That's just playing a 50% retracement. That's what you have to go to when there's no other points of reference. So you're looking at, what is this? 11,526. So 11,5. That's 100 points lower. So the market may even have a hard time getting there. Keep that in mind. If the market is one of these, slow grind higher kind of days, which can be very annoying, because it looks like it's always going to sell off and it just keeps going higher and higher. Look for buy signals on your smaller time frames, like your 15-minute, 5-minute. You're looking for continuation patterns. And again, you're looking for small bites, whether you're in a stock, whether you're in the Nasdaq, whatever you're in, small bites. Don't expect you're going to be in some big day. That's where you run into problems. Small bites for small risk. All right, so I hope this makes sense to you intraday. Now, let's move back to the bigger picture and let's go take a look at Coca-Cola. Bill mentioned. All right, again, I usually don't have time for stocks, but I try, if I can answer a question or two, I'd be happy to. So here's Coca-Cola, right? Now, Bill mentioned here that Coke, he tapped in at 54.97. Okay, and this thing's up 58.20. Wait, you're in from 54.97, and this thing's at 58. Nice. It's a nice trade, Bill. All right. So you want to see what's going on here. Well, first of all, Coke is generally a market stock. If you notice, this looks very similar to that higher low that we saw in the S&P and Nasdaq, right? Same type of pattern. Now this thing is going nuts. I mean, this thing's like Coca-Cola looks like an altcoin. Wow, people are drinking Coke, I guess. Anyway, so this is where you are, Bill. Look. So you're going into this resistance area right here, but this is quite some momentum. All right. I mean, people are rushing right back into this thing. Look at that. But you have all this resistance. So here's the thing. At this point, if you have a nice trade, use this current candle as a point of reference. You are in resistance, but there's no reason to rush out of this thing. If you have a decent position, it doesn't hurt to take something off the table. You know, if you can, take 10 or 20% off the table, something like that, just to lock something in. This candle, watch the low of this candle. What was the low? It's 57.88. So price should stay above that, meaning candle closes and next candle should open up somewhere and make the higher high if it's going to clear this resistance. And of course, the stock market will have to do the same because this is a market stock. If S&P turns around, this most likely will turn around too. Okay, so keep that in mind. So it would be a good idea to take something off the table. Otherwise, look for the continuation pattern. If you get like an inside bar, see if the high of that inside bar gets taken out. Again, you're playing the S&P. That's what you're playing, or you're playing the industrials. Is this thing in the Dow? I don't know what index it's in anymore. But anyway, that's what you're playing. So when they turn, this will turn. If they keep working their way higher, give this thing a chance. Okay. So especially if it clears this resistance, the next resistance on this thing, Bill, is here. $60. That's a nice whole number as well. So that's the area that's within reason. Also, you have this over here, which is a little more conservative. What is that? 59, is that 59 and a half? Basically 60. It's basically the same thing. Okay, so you're looking at the $59 to $60 area as your next potential target. That's $1.50 away. So, that's a big move for Coke. Does that make sense? So those are the levels that you're playing with. Watch the S&P. I mean, the S&P is like the main market. Watch the S&P for the signal. That's where it's going to really confirm. Okay, and Coke is just going to follow. All right, so that's the only one I really have time for. Okay, Alex. Yeah, let me see what time it is. Yeah, all right. Hold on. Let me get through some other markets, and I'll try to get to that. Also, let me see. I'm just reading things. Santa Rally, a real thing. T-note pushing. Well, seasonally, I've seen a lot of Santa rallies. So, I mean, it's not a joke. It is a real thing, but doesn't guarantee that it's going to happen. All right. But the market the market becomes very optimistic after October, like November, December. And there is this optimism. I've seen it quite a few times in the 23 years that I've been in this. Okay. Make sure you're using YouTube tags on your videos. You should watch a few videos on how to tag your YouTube. I try using those tags. Like I put the hashtag blah, blah, blah. I don't know if they work, but yeah, you're right. That's a good idea. I should watch some more videos on tags. Thank you for that suggestion. Also, use other titles for your Monday stream, like Bitcoin, okay, or something more personal. Okay, no, I appreciate that. Yeah, I need to do some. I'm really bad at YouTube marketing and all that other stuff. So I am trying to educate myself more on that without lying about my content, right? I don't want to put out nonsense out there like half of these morons that are running circles around me. Sure, they lie about everything and they fill everything with hope, right? So of course they're going to get a better reaction out of me. I'm honest. No one wants to hear honesty. So anyway, but you're right. Thank you for the suggestions. I definitely have to do some work in that area. So thank you. All right. Let's move along here. So let's move now to the dollar index. Let's see what's going on with this dollar, right? Ooh, dollar pulling back. Look at that. Interesting. So this I wanted to get short the pound again. I got stopped out of that short, right, for 205 pips. I mean, right at my stop level. The pound is actually through the stop level. If I had left that stop alone, I would have been stopped out anyway. Okay, if you look at the pound right now. Anyway, I was betting that this little range was going to hold. The range has not held. So look, we broke lower. This basically looks inverse to the bond market, right? We have that strong bull candle in the bonds, strong bear candle, right, in the dollar. But has the dollar changed its trend? This is what you need to be paying attention to. The dollar is still strong. Higher low, higher low, higher low. I don't see a lower low yet. Okay, you could say, oh, but this is a lower low over here. This little range is meaningless. This little range doesn't count, okay, in terms of the broader trend. So the level that counts is this level. That's the level that counts. All right, so that's that 110 area. Right now we're fooling around at what, 110.80. The question is, does the dollar maintain this level and give us a double bottom or some sort of little buy signal or higher low off this area? That would be a range low. Consolidation, right? Consolidating range low. If that holds and works its way back up to the high, then nothing has changed, okay? If the dollar breaks the support significantly, I'm not talking about like a little breach, like something like this, and then reverses right away. I'm talking about a significant break, and we're seeing the dollar test these levels, then that could be a sign of a change, okay? An economic change. It doesn't guarantee that there's a change, but it could be the starting point. Yeah, the dollar has a lot of work to do to get there, okay? But I should see similar activity in the bonds. I should see some other things that also confirm that, this trend is changing. If the dollar trend changes, then we can see a rally, all right? Now, in the stock market, we may be part of the Santa rally. Maybe the stock market is trying to turn itself around, but the bonds just haven't really proven anything yet, and that's why I'm not convinced. All right, look, the dollar can pull back and consolidate for a couple of weeks as it had back here and trick a lot of people. Think, oh, the dollar is over, right? The dollar is bearish now. The dollar is not bearish. So keep that in mind. This is just a larger magnitude version of that. Okay, does that make sense? So don't lose sight of this, right? There's nothing bearish about the dollar yet. It can change, but don't become opinionated. All right. I never have opinions. I let the market tell me, and that's what the market says right now. I trust the market. I trust the price. I don't pay attention to people or news or any other nonsense out there. I've learned a long time ago that 99% of the garbage you consume is worthless garbage. The information that I work with, I extract from the chart and I look at it in light of certain economic factors like interest rates. I keep it very simple. Okay. People love complexity. They think more is better. All right. So let's move along here. That's the dollar, right? Now let's take a look at real quick. Let's take a look at gold, XAU, USD, and then I'll probably take a look at the pound. So gold again, trying to reverse, just like inverse of the dollar, and gold is doing it from a very interesting level, right? So the double bottom in gold, very interesting. People that have been watching that very carefully may have a nice trade on. I haven't been able to watch this. Like this one would have been one that I probably would have tried to call at least. I mean, it's after the fact, so I don't want to say, oh, I would have called that. But this is certainly a pattern that I would be interested in, even though it's aggressive. The thing is, right now, I'm trying to get like the chat room thing working properly and this and that. And all my time goes into that. So it's very hard for me to make calls and track the market when I have all these other things that I have to do. But I'm getting there. Anyway, so here's the thing. Inside bar, right? Took out the high of the inside bar, buy signal. This is not exactly, right? It's not exactly an inside bar, but you get the idea. This was a bearish candle, took out the low, reversed, right? So now, where are we? We had the bearish pin bar developing, followed by the bullish pin bar developing. See that? So if you shorted this, if this was a short, this is not what you want to see after the short. Definitely don't want to see that. Okay, so if it closes like this and you're short, you should probably not be in it. As far as longs go, if it closes like this and takes out the high, that's a continuation pattern on the long side. Keep in mind, you're playing a weakening dollar. All right. If the dollar fakes out and works its way higher, this is just going to go back to the low. Just keep that in mind. So that's why it's an aggressive swing trade idea. If gold is going to rally a bit, this is the area you're targeting, this area, right? That if it can get up there, it has to be worth your risk. Don't expect more than that. Again, the dollar needs to change its tune before gold is going to do anything magical. Don't get all into that hype and all that emotional nonsense that gold is known for. All right. Anyway, that's gold. Now let me jump over to the pound real quick, Alex, and then I'll take a look at yours real quick. All right. So pound. I'm mentioning the pound because I'm interested in shorting this again. It's a good thing I have not put on a short. It's a good thing I have not reacted because look at that candle. This is definitely what I don't want to see that if I'm thinking short, or if I'm short, I do not want to see that. All right. This thing should be rejecting resistance, not pushing through like this, okay, at the moment. So we'll see. Now, keep in mind, I'm not convinced that this is a long either. Again, we're dealing with strong or weak dollar here, right? So if this turns into a pin bar, or if I get a bearish pin bar anywhere in this area over the next few days, I will be interested in a short because I will see that as a failed high. I should also see the US dollar reversing and going higher, right? And then this will be a nice short, in my opinion. Again, I don't like to have opinions, but I think there's a nice probability that this thing can work its way back into this area, something like that. I mean, that's what I would be targeting, something like that. Okay, pull back to there if I get the confirmation. All right, so you don't step in front of these things. If this thing breaks out and wants to keep going, right, I don't want to be in front of that. There's another resistance up in here. So these are the levels on the pound. This is the zone I'm interested in for shorting, but I need confirmation. There's absolutely nothing there right now besides just a zone, okay? And you don't step in front of those zones. This is bullish momentum, and it can keep going. So keep that in mind. All right, now I'm not talking about, there's obviously day trade opportunities in these situations. I'm not going to talk about day trades in the pound right now, but anyway, you can apply some of the concepts that I mentioned in some of the other markets to something like this. When you have a nice strong candle like that, there are, you know, small intraday opportunities to grab something out of there. Anyway, also, you can also lose if you don't know what you're doing, all right? Or even if you do know what you're doing, you can still lose. Just keep that in mind. I don't want to inject any ideas of hope or guaranteed money in this game. All right, let's take a look at, what was it? LUNC USDT. All right, let's take a look. LUNC USDT. What is that? Okay. Terra. Oh, okay. So here's the thing. This is, look, this is one of those hype coins. All these altcoins are hype coins. This is an interesting movement that you had. Let's go to the weekly chart. Okay, let's go to the weekly chart. And let's just see this bigger picture here real quick. So this is pretty much a consolidation, you can argue. You had that nice upward movement, and now you're stuck inside this range, right? I don't see a higher high. I don't see a lower low. It's just basically consolidating. So this might be a good one for, you know, eventual breakout, because look at the consolidation. I mean, it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter. And you have this support right here, which it has not compromised yet. So these are your levels. These are basically the key levels that you're going to be paying attention to on something like this, which is, man, I can't even read that number. 00018 is your low. And basically your high is going to be 0001813 is your low. And then 0001836. And these numbers are just ridiculous. Okay. Anyway, I have a hard time seeing them. That's your range. So what to do? This is not exactly the best choice for a swing trade. I think this is something more for like a sort of a maybe you want to call it a midterm investment. You know, you buy some. If you get the magical breakout, the squeeze, right? Then you start selling into that. That's how I would play something like this. Again, understand that these garbage coins, this is not the environment for them. Okay. Eventually we will see the environment, but just because it's not the environment doesn't mean you won't get a movement like this, right? There can be some nonsense news, some hype, some nonsense, whatever. That's what's going to drive this thing. There's nothing fundamentally sound about these coins. These are not, you know, all coins, whether it's Bitcoin or whatever, they're all highly speculative. So none of them are poised to do well in this environment until the environment changes. We need to see easy money. We need to see the Fed lay off interest rates and stop raising them. We need the Fed needs to become dovish. Okay, that's the first thing. Keep in mind, I'm going to point something out, then I'm going to wrap this up. Keep in mind, when Bitcoin and all them, when we saw, there were two rallies, right? Two major rallies. When Bitcoin went from basically 1,000 to 20,000 the first time, then it pulled back, right, to 3,000, and then it went from 3,000 to 70,000, basically, right? Not exactly, but you know, you get the idea. That move from 3,000 to 70,000, you know, that came out of nowhere, and that was basically a result of all that easy money floating around, and it found its way into the altcoin space. Let me just show you this real quick, right? If you look at total, this is a total market cap. It looks just like Bitcoin, but if you look back, if you go back, right, let's just go back. Let's go to a weekly chart. Okay, you can see what I'm talking about. This is what it was quiet, right? Look at the years, 2020, right? It was basically 2020, right? All the year of 2020, and then That's when it was still in its range. Okay, nothing spectacular there. It broke out in 2021. You see that? That's the cap, the market cap. So this shows how much time it spent, okay, going nowhere, doing nothing after the first rally, right, from 2018 or whatever, and it spent basically 2 years going nowhere, and then the money found its way in. It took, meanwhile, during this time, right, 2020, I remember it was like around May of 2020, the Fed was basically super dovish and kept interest rates at zero, blah, 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 all that drama. And this thing still took 6 months to recognize that, or something like that. It wasn't a one-to-one thing. That's what I'm trying to point out. So even if the Fed starts laying off rates, doesn't mean that it's going to be okay. Tomorrow is the time to start piling in. It's going to take some time, right? Use like the total market cap and use some of those things to track when money starts flowing in. The easy money needs to be floating around for some time before all the morons realize that it needs to go into something else, right? Oh, altcoins, and then it goes there. Okay, I'm simplifying the whole idea, but you get the idea. So I want to point out that people overreact, and oh, look, the bonds are going higher. It's time to buy altcoins. Altcoin bull market here to come. The bull market has resumed. The bull market is started again. Please don't get sucked into that, okay? Especially if it's being promoted on YouTube. Do you think these people know anything about identifying opportunities? True opportunities are not obvious, okay? Just like buying all those garbage altcoins, I remember some of those prices. I mean, they were next to nothing at that time. And then next thing you know, they're up like 1,000%, you know, over that 6 month or 12-month period. No one saw that coming, okay? All these clowns on YouTube, no one was calling that, no one, okay, until it was obvious. And then when they started pushing the high, altcoin season, yeah, and that's when it was obvious. And yeah, and there was some run after it was Captain Obvious, like it was still had some time to run. But please avoid these people that are calling these opportunities, because they're just looking for attention. Understand something. YouTube rewards attention. So if they can just hold your attention, okay, they make money. Whether you give them money or not, it doesn't matter. YouTube rewards their attention, and when they run their ads on those videos, right, they make a ton of money off the ad revenue because you give them attention, right? So YouTube rewards attention, not on streaming videos though, okay? So that's why it doesn't matter. I have to turn these into like regular videos to even think about that game. Anyway, so I want you to understand that. YouTube rewards attention, and then they spread those videos to more and more people, and they get more and more attention. That's how the herd mentality proliferates. Think about that. All right, I'm going to leave you with that. Otherwise, I'll talk all day. I can't do another hour like I was yesterday. I was talking like all over the place. Okay. Not only the hashtags, there are some other tags that YouTube uses. You have to add a lot of relevant ones on your streams. Okay, I appreciate that. Again, thank you for the advice there. I am going to do some more research on that. Okay, make sure you're using YouTube tags. Okay, honest market update daily show live now. That's a nice name. You know, actually, Golden Boy, if I put that honest market update, I'll get like just you guys only. I mean, I only have you guys now, but I won't get. No one will watch that. No one wants to hear honest. People want to be lied to. People want, like I said before, people would rather spend $1,000 on a dream, something that will not help them. In fact, they will lose more money, okay, as a result of buying that dream, than spend $300 on something that would actually help them protect their capital. That's human nature. I can't change that, okay? Marketing is all about basically embellishing the truth or lying. And I've been lied to for so long. I'm not going to lie. I'm just not going to do it, because I know where it goes. Okay. And I know what's going to happen because I went through it, and I don't want to be the one that pushes other people, you know, that way. Okay. So anyway, UK has some big changes, and things could be very hectic. Okay, right. Okay. So, well, I mean, I believe it was Johnson is back, I believe, in the UK. So who knows? I mean, it brings up a lot of uncertainty. All I know is I go by the price action in the pound. And right now, I don't want to get in front of that. But if it turns around, I'm all about shorting it because I'm not playing the pound. I'm really playing the dollar. That's what I'm doing. By shorting the pound, I'm going long the dollar. Okay, so that's really what I'm focused on. But thank you for mentioning that. Title suggestion. Look at the markets like the pros, S&P, Nasdaq. Okay, thank you, Joel. I appreciate all the marketing help. I could certainly use it. Okay, there are a lot of people holding their money in USDT. You can see that if you check USDT market cap. So theoretically, money can come in quickly for a bear market rally. That's an interesting point. A lot of people are in Tether. Okay, so money can come in quickly, but it's you have to look at the easy money factor though, right? The easy money factor, interest rates. That's really the key thing because what's going to motivate all these people to put their money in the market? All right, more money has to come in first. Where does that money come from? Easy money, cheap money. Okay, so if a lot of people are borrowing money, and I'm not talking about retail traders borrowing money, I'm talking about companies, businesses. They borrow a lot of money. If it's cheap, they can put that money to work. They hire more people, they do more research, they buy more inventory, right? And that's what stimulates the economy. Now, with all these people, all this extra money, I'm going to invest in some altcoins. Let me open up my Robinhood account, right? And that's how it starts. All these people with all this extra money floating around, and they start putting it into things. Where do you think NFTs came from, right? All that NFT nonsense. Now you have all these morons holding these expensive graphics that they paid $3,000 in Ethereum for, and it's just a worthless graphic with no fundamental value, but it's rare. It's the only one. That's nice. Maybe NFTs will be something in the future, right? But I believe that they're just an expression of inflation or too much money floating around. Okay. Anyway. At least you got good people to the show. Well, that's true, and you guys appreciate me, and I appreciate you guys. I don't see no porn guys today. That's nice. I guess they got tired of spamming me. Okay, but I'm amazed so many people have confidence in Tether. Oh, me too. That may show their ignorance, Alex, because Tether has got some interesting fundamental problems. It's like you're holding this thing that may be worthless overnight. You put your money in it, and it's a lot of strange things with Tether. But as long as they keep that party going, and you have some of it or whatever, you just don't hold on to it very long. I don't trust Tether at all. After some of the stuff that I came across, somehow they keep it together. I don't know how. Anyway, all right, you guys. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. Again, I'm talking too much. So you guys know the story. All right, you guys know the story with Bitcoin. You guys know all that stuff. Make sure to check out. Again, go to my Discord chat. I'm looking to put more stuff in those channels so that you can get some value throughout the day. That's important that I can provide that, and any suggestions that you have in that area as well can also be very helpful. I would like to make a Discord community that's worthwhile for everyone and that you can get good information from, not nonsense. All right. And by the way, free people, the reason why I have the text turned off is because I don't want all these spammers, and I can't sit there and moderate all that stuff. So I don't want all these porn spammers and all these people showing up in there and putting it in there. That's why I have that. And only paid members can talk right now, people that have previously paid. All right. Anyway, just wanted to clear that up. I'm going to wrap this up, you guys. Thank you so much for spending your time with me here today. I hope you got something out of this stream. I will be back again tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your evening, wherever you are in the world. And thank you very much for watching.